Welcome back to the Salty Podcast, where it's always a great day to talk about sailing. This is episode 42. Before we begin, please smash that like button, subscribe, and feel free to comment in the live chat on YouTube or Facebook. In tonight's episode, I'm excited to welcome back for the third time Radeen and Hayden of sailing vessel Island Spirit. This time, they'll dive deeper into their expert, well-practiced route through the stunning Bahamas. If you're looking for insider tips and detailed insights from seasoned sailors, you're in the right place. Get ready to learn how to navigate the Bahamas like a true pro. Without further delay, let's welcome Hayden and Radeen. Welcome.
Hey.
Hi, Tinsley.
Hello, Tinsley. Hello, everybody. Thank you.
Well, glad to have you here and very excited to hear in more detail about the Bahamas. And so grateful you've come well prepared and you've made it really easy for me. So I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. We love doing this and we love talking about charts. And maybe Radeen can tell you the difference between the Abacos and the Exumas.
Okay.
As a little intro.
Well, the Abacos, in my opinion, are the easier place to start. It's closer to the States. The legs between islands are shorter and the total distance is less. So you can easily do the Abacos in 6 weeks or less and feel like you've really left the country and had an adventure. It's a lot farther to get to the Exumas and the legs are more challenging.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Well, the Abacos are easy, really.
Yeah. So, and then we were just talking offline that you guys are going to come back maybe on November 13th if the date works out.
Yeah.
And talk about one of your expertise, Radeen, provisioning for 3 months in the Bahamas.
I'd be happy to share what I've learned. We like to contribute to the local economy, but it's best to have your own provisioning on board because it's not always easy to get the things that you want to have on board. And some things are extremely expensive, like snack items. So I'd be happy to share my thoughts on provisioning and how we do it with as minimal shopping as possible once we're there.
Yeah, we pretty much load up. Yeah, we load up in Miami and then we're good for about 3 months.
Yeah, and my experience in the Bahamas is if you're looking for 25 types of toothpaste, that's not the place for it, is it? If you got a special toothpaste, you better bring it.
you go there for the beaches, the palm trees, and the snorkeling. That's why you go to the Bahamas. Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, let's
you want to start off with this one?
Yeah, that's our first chart. The first discussion shows the difference between the Abacos and the Exumas. Up at the top, number one, straight east from, say, Fort Pierce, Florida, takes you out to the Abacos, which is the Sea of Abaco, really small. We're Hopetown, and we'll look at all those adventures out there. Number two takes you down into the Exumas, and you usually leave from Miami or farther south, go through Bimini and through the Northwest Channel, and then you end up down at the Exumas. The difference is Miami to the first Exuma Key is 200 nautical miles east, or a little bit southeast, as you can see on that number 2 arrow. But number one up top, every trip is about a 40-mile day trip, and you just day hop your way 1, 2, 3 days, and you're in the Abacos. And it's very, very easy. So the first time you go to the Bahamas, you should definitely go to the Abacos. So we have 10 slides that's going to walk us into the Abacos. So you can jump to the next one. Okay, so focusing just going to the Abacos, you would not move down to Miami because that's south of the Abacos already. So you're going to leave from like Lake Worth is a very popular place to leave from. You're going to go straight over to West End. You're going to check into customs there. And then number two, you're going to go to the center of the banks called Great Sail Key. And number three, you're going to make Green Turtle Key. These are 3 individual day hops. Very, very easy.
And Green Turtle Key is a great destination. There's 2 towns there.
Yeah, that's
restaurants, beaches. It's lovely.
Yeah, that's your destination. Let's go to the next slide and look at where you're going to check in at, because now you're going to cross the Gulf Stream. And the most memorable thing I have in 25 years of sailing on Island Spirit is the first time in 2011 when we came up on this Bahama West End bank. As you can see, the deep water is white out there. You're coming off of the Gulf Stream. The sun is behind you because it's late in the afternoon. And this shallow bank comes up from the bottom and it's all white sand. And what happens is the sun comes right through that crystal clear water, reflects off of that sand, and goes from indigo blue up to every shade of blue you can imagine until it almost goes white into turquoise as you come into this entrance. It is the most spectacular thing to see anywhere in the Bahamas is that corner right there as you approach West End. So you got to imagine this. It's the first time you're going to the Bahamas and you've made it across the Gulf Stream, which is scary for most people. We've crossed the Gulf Stream 20, 25 times. And you come up on this bank and you just see this water. Man, how about it?
It's a real thrill. It honestly is.
You know you've made it to somewhere really remote and you're not even there yet. You're just at West End. So it's 40 across. So you go into the harbor here and you dock up and then you walk around the perimeter of the harbor and the customs house is on that little peninsula out in the center there where it says customs right there. And you check in, you spend the night, and the next day you get up and you carry on. So now go to the next slide.
I just want to say it is a nice resort.
Oh yeah.
It's a beautiful facility with a nice restaurant and pretty beaches on the east side. So if you want to stay a couple days, that's allowed too.
It is. It's a whole nother dilemma of, where do you stop at and when do you stay in a place? Because remember, you've come across the Gulf Stream on a front. The winds are normally from the east, blowing from the right side to the left of this screen. You've come from the west and you don't want to get stuck here. You want to carry on. So usually you stay here when you're coming back. This is your route back. You're going to go the same way back. You stay here coming back and you enjoy the pool and the restaurant. When you're outbound, you keep it going. You try to a good weather window and get going. So the next day now, this is day one.
I just wanted to also say that you gave some great information. It took me a few times to listen to it to understand it for it to finally sink in. Somebody will already know this, but it was very helpful when you were on here last time. It was the Florida to Caribbean route. When you came on it, you explained the importance of the weather to wait for and how it's better just to wait until you can go all the way through. And when the wind was coming from this direction, then that direction, this direction, you explained it very well. And I will include some links in the description after we're done here for people to hear that, because that was like the best explanation that finally made it through this head.
Yeah, I mean, if you back up one slide, you can see
let's do that.
Back up one slide, you can see what you were just talking about. You're going to cross the Gulf Stream number one. So that's your big challenge. That scares most people. It's not that bad. If you pick the right south wind, you wait till the wind goes south. Now you've taken south wind into that West Bay, and you don't want to stay there because the south wind is going to go to west wind, and then it's going to go to northwest wind, and then it's going to blow like crazy out of the north. So you have 2 more days of moving east, and you want to get out of that open corner there and get across that bank and get up into that next corner where it says 3. That's where you're trying to get to. That's your safety spot. So if you stay back out at number 1, you're going to be stuck there for 7 to 10 days. So now go forward to West End again.
Thanks for the reminder.
There's West End. Now after West End, you come out of here. Go to the next slide. Okay, now there's West End down at the corner where it says Indian Key. You come out and you run through the cut there over the reef, and you go up around Mangrove Key, which is just a little island in the middle of nowhere. You're on the little Bahama banks, and you're running east into the wind. You're not into the wind because you've come over on a front. The wind should be behind you. And you're going to anchor at this Great Sail Key. How about this place, Radeen?
It's a big, long rock in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
You can't go ashore. There's no way to beach a dinghy.
No, it's really a hostile island. It's very edgy. The rocks are edgy. You can't even get a dog on. It's not the place to say, this is my destination. You want to get there. You're going to throw the anchor out. You're going to make dinner, sleep, maybe jump in and swim. And next day you want to get out of there. Again, look at how you're laying. You're laying on a western shore. You rode the west winds over.
Right.
You're going to drop anchor on this side of Great Sail Key with your bow facing into the sunset, into the wind. You're going to be on a lee shore. This is what happens. The other side of the island is not that great. So this is your only option, is along this western shore. So that's why you're sitting back in Florida, like picking a good 2-day weather window to make this run. If you can get anchor up here the second day and get moving, it's okay that it's blowing maybe 15, 20 knots out of the northwest. Now you come out of here. Now look at the next leg. This is now day 3. Now you got it made. There's number 1 back at Great Sail. You up anchor there at daybreak. You're getting out of here because, again, You got the west winds coming in. They're going to go northwest, and then they're going to blow down this route from number 2 to number 3. So it's usually you're going downwind across there. And you look what you're going to get in between. Crab Key and the Spanish Key Reef. You're going to get in between this protected area.
Okay.
Now, this is the beginning of day 3. It's going to be noon by the time you're at number 3. And now you come down to the destination, Green Turtle Key, at number 4. Now look at this. Go to the next slide. That's another day trip. So this is 3 days of day tripping now. Now, how about this place right here?
Oh, this is terrific.
Okay, describe this.
Well, the approach seems narrow, but it's well marked. There's plenty of room to make it up into the anchorage. All around that, at the head of the arrow, on all 3 sides around you, you see docks out into the water. So those are 3 different marinas, Green Turtle Key Club and Bluff House is on the right. Green Turtle Key Club is one of our favorite places. They have music on the weekends. They have a nice restaurant with linen tablecloths and great food and a friendly staff. And at the southern end, where the arrow points down to the Leeward Island Yacht Club, also is where Abaco Yacht Services is, where you can buy Yamaha outboard motors.
Yep.
Wow.
Which we've done. We've ordered a Yamaha. They held it for us. We bought it there. We've come back there multiple years, had it serviced. Doesn't need to do anything to a Yamaha. They run forever.
Right.
That's your closest place to buy a Yamaha 15.
At greatly reduced
Oh, yeah,
prices.
$2,500.
Right, compared to the States.
You heard it here, right here on the Salty Podcast.
Right there.
Bargain shopping. And
Yeah.
New Plymouth is at the bottom, which is the largest settlement in on Green Turtle Key. And again, there's restaurants and marinas and yacht services. And one of the most famous places is a place called
Blue Bee. The Blue Bee Club.
No, the Blue Bee Bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been there forever, and it's a fun place.
Where's that? Where
It's
is
down
this?
it's down in the bottom cove down there. There's little
Right here.
Yeah, there's little pubs and bars everywhere
Okay.
in the Abacos. But up top is Green Turtle Club, and that is to die for. And it's our favorite. We tend to go up there, and then we rent a golf cart, and you ride a golf cart around the island down to the bottom. Or
Okay.
you get a ride with somebody.
Or you can take your dinghy even.
You can. Oh yeah, you buy your new Yamaha 15 there. And you have 10 hours of break-in, so they want you to run it at certain speeds at certain RPMs for so many minutes. And so you race it up to the north, and then you race it down to the bottom, and you race it back and forth. And after you say you've done all this, you take it back, and they sign the warranty card. So it's easy to go dinghy from the top.
So you got to spend a little time there when you pick up your engine.
Your outboard.
What most people will do the first time they go to the Bahamas, this will be their destination. There are many, many people that don't go past here. Green Turtle Key, they're like, I've made it to the Bahamas. I've accomplished my goal. I'm done. It's okay. It's great. We have friends that would stay at the Leeward Yacht Club all winter long, and it was a fabulous place, and it's a good place to dock. So this can be your first destination that you don't have to go past. So
our friends who stay there were on an island packet 40 named 10 Ton. It's Ken and Sarah Akins, and they started a tradition of having a St. Patrick's Day parade on the island. So if you're ever here in March, you should make an effort to be there on St. Patrick's Day and join in the parade at the settlement at the bottom.
Yeah, Ken and Sarah.
Let me ask you, is the weather kind of cool in the winter in these northern islands?
It is, because you're still the latitude of Fort Pierce. So the cold fronts come down from the north every 7 to 10 days, bringing in the north wind, the northeast wind, and the cold temperatures. And until that passes every 7 to 10 days, depending upon the storms up coming off of Chicago down to Philly, as those winds come to the north, then the trades aren't there, but then eventually the trades come back. So the temperature will drop to 55, 60 degrees.
Yeah.
Maybe even 45, 50. It can get, I don't know, 45, but it can get pretty cold.
Oh,
and
cool.
I was in Bimini, in North Bimini in December. Now it's pretty chilly.
Yeah.
But I didn't stay around long enough to see if it changed. So
It'll warm up.
You can make this area just be fabulous. Now comes the challenge for everybody. You're going to leave Green Turtle Key, and the next slide is the dreaded whale. It's called, see right in the center there, it's called Whale Key. Okay, everybody freaks out over this. This is scary.
Okay.
Right?
Well, it can be,
It
Hayden.
can be.
You're making fun of it.
I'm
But
making fun of it. But go ahead.
there's a cruiser's net on the VHF radio. I don't remember the channel, but it's every day. And
Okay.
they give a weather forecast for the entire region. And they will also talk about the predicted conditions in the Whale Key Cut. You need to go around Whale Key out into the open ocean where the middle arrow is, and then you need to come back into the Sea of Abaco. So this is an open ocean cut. The winds can be high and the waves can be 10 feet high.
Easily. Yeah. The problem, there's blue lines on that chart represent the waves coming in. So when you come down from Green Turtle Key and turn to port, you're facing straight into the waves. So you go up and over and you crash over these waves going through the cut at the reef. The waves can be breaking, which you would never go out. And the real problem is you got to go out so far a little bit to stay safe off of Whale Key. You're running your motor, obviously. You're not going to sail this ever. You will have a sail up, a double reef main, just for safety and stability. Then you're going to turn beam to the waves. And now you're running along the front of Whale Key with the waves, 4, 6, 8 footers rolling in on your beam. So your boat is going from gunnel to gunnel, rolling side to side for this little passage until you can turn to starboard and cut down into the next cut. You see how you turn down
and what is this green arrow here with question marks?
If Blaine Parks ever watches this, I'm going to call that the Blaine Parks channel. This is the channel that the ferry captains use.
Okay.
And it has a name. I forget the name. Oh, Don't Rock Passage right there. It's under your arrow. Don't Rock Passage. All the ferries run through there because they come from down here to the right is Marsh Harbor, the Sea of Abaco, and up to the left is Green Turtle Key, where everybody wants to be. So the ferries run back and forth. They don't go around Whale Key. They plow through this sandbank here. So it's kind of slotted out. Blaine Parks has taken 45-foot island package through there, full speed, under sail, middle of the night. He is so good at what he does in delivery services. We've gone down through here 8, 10 times. We've never challenged that Don't Rock Passage. I wish.
Really? If Blaine did it, why won't you do it?
Not doing it. Blaine can take me through there, but I'm not doing it. I wish the Bahamas, the Abacos, should actually dredge that out and put a little wall there, like a rock wall to the east to keep it open. But no, I'll just wait and go around. I'll wait up at Green Turtle Club, having a tipsy turtle, and then I'll come around here when it clears out, right?
Right.
Well, how far these arrows, the red arrows, how long are these, you think?
This would take you 1 hour to go around this. This is small, really small.
Okay, that's not bad. Okay.
Once you reach Green Turtle Key, you don't have 10 miles to cover anymore. You can't go very far now. You're there. You're going to see in a minute. Now go to the next.
Wait. I have something to say. In the lower left-hand corner of this chart is Treasure Key, which is a long-established resort and one of the prettiest beaches in the Bahamas on the north side. So there are mooring balls in that harbor. There are also slips, and it's a lovely place to go.
That is paradise right down there, Treasure Key. You can go in there and anchor and mooring. That beach to the north curve. That curve is spectacular.
Well, how would you get in there? You have to come around this way?
You come around from the bottom.
So you go through the hill and then go down past Hayden's question mark and keep following that dotted line. And just off the chart is where you would turn to get into the entrance.
Yeah, where the question mark is the beginning of the Sea of Abaco. You're going to have a big sea now ahead of you. So if you go to the next slide, you'll see how this now leads into Marsh Harbor. Okay, here's the big picture now. You see where Whale Key is up there at the top. Very top.
Yes, right here.
That's what you came out of Green Turtle Key at the top up there. Your Green Turtle Key, you came down around, went out the Whale, you zipped around the Whale, and now you're in what's called the Sea of Abaco. This is your destination. This is where you're trying to get to. You have protection of 360 degrees, which you don't have in the Exumas and the Caribbean. This is very rare. And so it's very calm. It's great sailing. And you have Marsh Harbor as one spot. You have Little Pete's Pub. You have Hope Town is a dream location. You got this whole thing, Sea of Abaco. You have Man of War Key, Guana Key, where Nippers is. Everything is right here based off of this Marsh Harbor base.
Now, are you anchoring in here, or do you get a slip?
Everywhere. We don't take a dock anywhere. We never anchor once we leave. No, we never dock.
Awesome.
Even for 6 months in the Caribbean, we don't dock. We
We sometimes take mooring balls. The inner harbor of Hopetown is
Yeah,
a good place.
Hopetown,
to
you'll
take a
need to
ball.
take a mooring ball. Yeah, mooring balls in Hopetown, but you're anchoring everywhere here.
We probably need to do a video someday about budgeting, because that probably saves a ton of money.
We don't.
Oh yeah.
Our expenses drop off a cliff when we get on the boat and get anchored. Once we leave the dock, it's hallelujah. No more
Yeah.
$1,000 dock bill. So
Right.
the $1,000, $2,000 dock bill is insane. We never dock. We don't dock.
Yeah.
Okay, so go to the next screen now. You'll see now what happens in the Sea of Abaco. Here is, it's first time to the Bahamas. It's going to be your paradise. You're going to come in here, and every time a storm comes and it's going to be blowing 30, 40 knots, we took our biggest high winds on anchor in here, right where that X is, 55 knots on anchor, and held no
Wow.
problem. This is Marsh Harbor. This is
All right,
where
let me go back here and see. Okay,
it's
so
down
this
in the
is
corner, right
right
Marsh
here.
Harbor.
That's
Yep,
this right here.
Yep, exactly. So you come into Marsh Harbor and you can sail right in here. This is spectacular.
Wow.
You can drop an anchor anywhere you want in here. And the paradise place is at the top up there, the jib room. That's been our happy spot for 10 years. We would always go and base in the jib room. The jib room is known for rib night on Saturday night and steak night on Wednesday night. And you anchor there and you go in and they serve you the biggest steak you've ever had. You cut it in half, you ziplock it for the next day, half of it, and you eat half your steak there. And then they have a dance party.
They do. They were seriously damaged in Hurricane Dorian. So we haven't been back since then. So
they're rebuilt. They are rebuilt,
but I don't know if their schedule is the same. But they had a great tradition of catering to cruisers. So I hope they're continuing.
Jib room is a dream. It's a cruiser's mecca because the owners recognize all of us are out here anchored out, and they just made their place so inviting. And they even allow you to come in and have your own cocktail parties on their off nights.
BYOB?
They used to allow that. And it's just a dream. It's perfect Bahamas gathering spot. And you're in this anchoring, so you have no cost on anchoring. And you go across the town over there. There's a massive grocery store to walk up to. Everything you need, hardware store.
What part of year would you say is the best time to go here? What time of the year?
You want to be in Florida for the winter fronts. You want to be in Florida for December and January. You shouldn't be coming over to the Bahamas until at least February. You should be over here. If you're going to be in the northern Bahamas, Abacos, you're going to be over here in February, March, April.
You can get a suntan then?
May 1st, you hit the Florida
Very
coast.
important.
You're coming back May 1st. Well, that's what we've done.
But on the other, we know plenty of island packets, including an older couple named Dick and Carol Simmons, who they would wait until May to come over because by then it's less crowded.
Yeah.
And so they would come May and stay for June and July and just keep an eye on the weather. They're only 2 days from Florida. If something's brewing, then they would turn tail and head back to Florida.
It's so easy to get back from the
May sounds perfect to me.
Yeah,
it's warm.
The mistake I
but
think
not too hot.
No, not too hot.
The mistake a lot of people make, I think, is they come down the coast, they race down the coast, and they leave Florida, middle December, and they try to get over to the Bahamas right away for December, January. If they're going to the Abacos, they're going to freeze. You got these fronts coming through. If you're going over to the Bahamas in December, you better be shooting for Georgetown and going south. And then you get all the way down to the Exumas that you're going to see next. And then you base down there until spring, and then you come back up.
So a lot of times people do the Exumas in the early part of the season and finish up in the Abacos. So Abaco in April.
The first year we went over to the Abacos, looped that, learned that. And then from then on, we went down to the Exumas. And then from the Exumas, we came up to the Abacos and came back to Florida.
Okay.
You'll see a little bit.
So your favorite month that you've been there is what?
April.
February, March, April. Yep.
And you still have a lot of cruisers there during that time?
Oh, yeah. But the beauty is you stay back in Florida. You base between Fort Pierce and the Florida Keys. And you take November, December, January, when these wicked fronts are coming across the country, the snowstorms, and you stick yourself down in Biscayne Bay, and you play in Biscayne Bay, sailing north and south and anchoring off the beaches and going in no-name harbor. And Biscayne Bay is as good as the Abacos practically, for sailing. obviously the Bahamas are better, but there's no reason to race away from Florida to just freeze your tail off in the Abacos.
Right.
Yeah, just
Right.
stay in Florida. Enjoy
Right.
the beautiful sailing of the Keys and the Biscayne Bay. Go down to Key West.
And in the winter, there's a lot of in the Keys. There's big east winds.
Yes, you're
So
sailing north and south.
In
Yeah.
Biscayne Bay, you
In
are.
Biscayne Bay. But over in the Bahamas, it's all east winds. Well, it's going to be all east. It's east all the time until a front comes.
Right.
And then you
East
get-
all the time. Yeah.
All the time. When the fronts come, it goes south, southwest, west, northwest. It clocks around. And then when it gets to north and northeast, look out. You're going to get hit with 25, 35, 40 knot north winds. And where are you going to be for that? You sure don't want to be out in Great Sail Key or crossing the Gulf. You want to be in a protected harbor like Biscayne Bay or No Name Harbor or somewhere like that. And then when
and
there's
you've got your group of friends there that you've made over the years that you see.
yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, we always would spend Thanksgiving up in Stuart, Florida. We love Stuart. That's one of our dream destinations. And now, and then we're down in the Keys for 5 years. We love that for the winter. And then passing through Biscayne Bay, we realized we were missing the best of the whole East Coast. Number two on the East Coast is Biscayne Bay. Number one on the East Coast is Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, Block Island Sound,
Newport.
Newport. That's where the America's Cup was. That's
I had somebody come on and talk about Block Island.
That's number.
A
That's
guy
number
from
one.
Rhode Island.
Number one.
So Robert Richardson says, Gusto. I
Hey.
love Dick and Carolyn Gusto plans to be in the Marsh Harbor this up and coming
They
season.
are our heroes. They are amazing.
Well, they sold their boat.
I
So
know.
this is the new owner of Gusto saying that he's going to be in Marsh Harbor. That's
Oh,
great.
good for you,
good
Robert.
for you, Robert.
Fantastic.
Oh, that's the new owner. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
Colin did a refit. So let's go to the next slide. So we were
All right.
in Marsh Harbor. And now the question is, out of Marsh Harbor, the next slide takes us around the Sea of Abaco to the point, which is called Elbow Key, which is Hopetown. And it's the shape of your elbow. And you see the
Right
little harbor in there. And that's where the Hopetown Lighthouse is, down in where I have the arrow pointing to the moorings. And well, the word lighthouse there is pointing to where the lighthouse is.
Right
and
here.
you come in this little, you come in this little skinny cut, and it's filled with mooring balls now. We have anchored in here in the past. No,
Right.
yeah, we did before the mooring balls went in, and now it's all moored out, which is actually better because it's safer, but it's extremely tight, and you usually have to wait outside for a mooring to open up. There's not much room to go around and like drive around and look for a mooring, so you usually kind of have to coordinate with somebody that's giving up their mooring ball, and you find them on the radio.
Or,
And, hey,
or come in by dinghy.
Yeah,
Kind of
wait.
guide you in.
yeah, wait for me, or I'll go put a float on it. When you drop it, put this life jacket on. I'll take it. So
Okay.
it's a.
Is this
it's
where?
a-
Am I pointing to the place where the mooring balls are?
Yeah, in the
Yeah,
in the
and
center of the
farther
harbor,
down.
down a little bit,
Farther south.
down in the harbor, right in there,
There
all
you
of
go.
that, where
Okay.
the moorings points in there. Yeah,
Oh, I
that's-
see it. Moorings.
all
Okay. Oh,
moorings.
no, right there. I see it.
Yeah.
Big green letters that you put there.
That whole thing is moorings.
Okay.
So you can anchor outside. You see the backside of the island. You can go to the left over there and anchor on the backside because it'll always be filled in Hopetown. And then the lighthouse there. Tell them about the lighthouse. It's really, really unique.
If it's still the case, that lighthouse is one of the last working lighthouses in the world. It has a seventh order Fresnel lens in it, and it is operated by kerosene. And the lamp
Wow.
only stays lit for 2 hours. So the lighthouse keeper has to go up the staircase to the top every 2 hours all night long to refill the kerosene and keep the light lit because it is still used for navigation. And the way the lighthouse, the mechanism to the light spins is it rests in a bed of mercury so that there's no
Ooh,
friction.
Danger.
And so it has to be hand wound to wind it up to make it spin.
For
so
the weights, they lift the weights up the lighthouse.
right. And as the weights drop, that's what makes it spin on its 6-second cycle.
So would this be the last operating lighthouse that uses kerosene and all
It
that?
might, it might be. We were lucky enough to climb the lighthouse with the lighthouse keeper and watched him light it in 2011. And
Of course you did.
I have a full photo essay of him and his lighting of the lamp because he has to climb into the lens. So he gets
Wow.
into the lens and sits in there and lights it. And a big fireball explodes, and then he tunes it down and up and down and gets it burning just right. And then he comes out of the lens and then initiates the rotation. And then I think it's every 2 hours he has to go up to re-pull the weights up. Yeah, it's kind of a unique, very unique, special lighthouse. It's the icon of the Abacos.
So they have an assistant light keeper too, huh? Because
They
he can't do it
do.
every.
And there's
Yeah.
2 houses, so two families
Two
live
families.
on the property.
Wow.
It's a destination to go. It's if you go to the Abacos, it's what you want to go to see.
I'm there.
It's one of the
Okay.
top things. You have to climb the Hopetown Lighthouse. It's really spectacular.
That's my kind of. I love things like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So then the last thing is from Hopetown. If you go forward one more slide, just south of Hopetown is one of the hottest little places called Tahiti Beach.
Right
And you can see it's a little inlet. Tolu Cut comes in here. You don't go in and out of here. And that beach is probably the most photographed beach in the Bahamas. Everybody goes in there. You can see I have a typo in the word burgers. Excuse me on that. But you take the dinghy across to Brugger's. You go over to Blubber's Quarter and you get your cheeseburgers over there.
Okay.
How about Tahiti Beach?
Oh, Tahiti Beach is beautiful. It's a great place for throwing frisbee and beaching your dinghy and just sitting all day and having the waves lap at your toes. It's just beautiful.
I got a picture of us with an umbrella in the beach, the dinghy pulled up under the umbrella, and us laying on the inner tubes of the dinghy. Just a
Rough life.
great place to spend the
Yeah.
day. What else do we have from there, man? What's the next slide? I got to look at my notes here.
Oh, we have a question
Oh,
or
we have a
or a
question.
comment. Okay,
Girl.
you're SP Island Girl. Island.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to be staging in Key West next month. Our plan is to hit the Exumas first,
Yep.
trying to avoid the fronts
Yep.
to the north.
Yep.
Wise plan? Absolutely.
Very, very smart. That
2
is the way
thumbs
to
up.
do it. That's way better. That's what we started doing after our first year into the Abacos. We would go straight down the Exumas and then base in the Exumas below the fronts. And then as springtime comes in April, we would usually move up to Abacos. We said April was for Abaco, and we'd move up there. And then May 1, we would come back to the coast. And the month of May is the perfect month to run the entire East Coast. You're taking the spring north with you. It's fantastic. We've done it 20 times. We love it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So in the interest of time, I think
Yeah.
we do need to
Yeah,
go
we
to
gotta
the
keep- we gotta-
Exumas.
well,
So here we go, Island Girl.
Go to the next slide there. Let's see where we're going next. Excuse my cough. Okay, so this is the concluding slide of the Abacos. You get the whole picture here now. You see you're starting back in Lake Worth. You get across the Gulf Stream. You go across the Little Bahama Banks on day 2. Day 3, you make Green Turtle Key. And then as soon as you can, you go around the Whale. And once you get around the Whale, you're in the Sea of Abaco, and you're playing on Elbow Key and Little Pete's Pub and Marsh Harbor and all the little keys that are out there to the east.
Great Guana Key.
Great Guana Key where
and,
Nippers is.
Man of War Key.
There's no place to go south of there. If you're coming up from the Exumas, you would actually come in here to the little cut where it says Great Abaco Island. You come in there from the south, and that's how you get back into Hopetown. You're going to come
This
right
way?
in. Yeah, you're going to come up to the top where it says
Right there.
You're going
Right
to come
there.
right in there.
Yeah.
There's multiple
Okay.
cuts there to the south of Hopetown, and you're going to sail in there from the Exumas. That's your
Okay.
route in, and then you're going to follow this route back.
Okay.
Because from Green Turtle Key, we would leave at Green Turtle Key after breakfast, and we would go out to Great Sail Key, drop an anchor, and wait and swim and sleep till midnight. And then midnight, you're up anchor. You go across that Little Bahama Banks, head for the Gulf Stream, and you hit the edge of the banks at daybreak, and then you cross the Gulf Stream into Fort Pierce by 4 o'clock. So you can leave Green Turtle Key and be back at Fort Pierce by 4 o'clock the next day. It's
Wow.
an easy way to come home because you're going downwind. Coming home
Yeah,
is
and you've included the swim.
Yes, exactly.
Yo,
That's always
yo,
our final swim.
That's your final swim. You swim, you drop anchor, have dinner, swim, prepare for your overnight, and then you take off at midnight. And midnight till 4 p.m. you'll arrive at Fort Pierce. Yeah, we've done it 10 times.
Okay, now I'm going to pull up the Abaco, the
Yeah.
first Abaco slide.
Yeah.
Exumas.
Yeah, now we'll do the Exumas.
I
The
mean,
Exumas-
yeah.
Yeah, the Exumas are a little bit more. How much time is it? We got that was 30 minutes. That was a little longer than I wanted it to be. I'll try to be faster on this, Tinsley.
Hey, this is all good info.
All right, so the Exumas run now. If you back to this presenting first slide, number 2.
We're going to go this way.
When you look at the Exuma runs as opposed to Abacos, Abacos are so easy. The Exumas you better be able to run overnight. And what prevents a lot of people? There's somebody coming in with a message.
Oh, it's
No
Bill
name.
and Belle on Sanang.
Oh yeah.
They met us in No Name Harbor and last winter.
Oh,
They
fun. My
made
Miami.
us-
Yes.
The Miami contingency. They made us a beautiful dinner and gave us so much good information.
Oh, my great Miami team. Love them. Yeah.
Do I need to have them on the podcast?
Thank you. They know Miami. They're
They
experts
sure
down
do,
there.
'cause they live there.
And they're photographers. So yeah. So
Okay,
now
so
you
there's SB Sanang. Okay.
number 2 shoots down to the Exumas. The whole challenge here is look at the winds. The winds are coming from the east. You're sitting back in Miami waiting for the
east,
perfect
yeah.
passage to go east.
Okay.
But you don't want to go across that Gulf Stream until the winds go south.
Right.
But when the winds go south, you know what's coming. Southwest, west, northwest blowing like crazy, north even crazier, and northeast it's blowing like wild, and then it dies to the east again. So the question is, how fast is the front coming, and where can I get to in the timing of the front? And what a lot of people will do on this run, on number 2 run, because it goes right through Bimini, they think, I'll just leave Miami and get to Bimini. I'll start there. My opinion is it's not worth just jetting over to Bimini to wait another week or 2 for the next weather window. You would be better off to stay back in Miami and wait for the next better weather window, right?
Yes, there is one advantage though. By stopping in Bimini, you can clear in the
Right.
Bahamas, and you don't have to worry then about clearing in because you're supposed to be cleared in before you go ashore anywhere.
And that's the problem. You leave Miami, your clear-in points are only Bimini, the Berries, Chub Key, and Nassau. So once you start going east fast and hard to get out east, you're running out of places to check in. So that Exuma word out there, that's 200 miles east of Miami, 200 miles. If you run overnight, you can run 150 miles. So
look, just North Bimini, Bimini, Nassau, Chub Key, North Chub Key,
Chub Key, Bimini, Berries, Chub Key, and Nassau. Yep.
Okay.
Now you can get all the way down to Staniel Key and check in down Staniel Key. And I think some people do that. We've checked in Bimini, we've checked in the Berries, we've checked in Chub. We've never checked in Nassau.
There is one more place on the northern end of the island of Andros.
We've done that.
Right where your arrow is, there is a place.
Right here?
Mm-hmm.
We've cleared in there.
Yeah, it's not very convenient.
Not recommended.
No.
I would never.
Okay, so when you make this run, do you stop at Bimini just to check in?
We'll go to the next slide. That's what we're going to look at. We're going to look at the 3 options of stopping. There's 3 options. There's 3 options now. Here they are. You're starting back on the coast. You make the Gulf Stream run. It's going to take you to Bimini no matter what. And then because you want to get around Bimini and get up on the banks. Now your first option is A, Bimini. I can check in there and stop. If you like, if your team is strong enough to run overnight, you're going to run overnight on the banks to B, which is your next closest option, and you're going to go to the Berries. Now the Berries are a little bit north, but you can come out of there and still get south. So that's the one we did last year. We liked it. That you leave Miami, you're around the top of Bimini about 4 in the afternoon. Sun is getting low. You're getting out on the banks. You're making dinner. It's nice and calm. The sun sets behind you on the banks. And we had a full moon then rise over the bow as we were going east to Great Stirrup Key, the Berries. Spectacular night at sea. You arrive at the Berries. The problem for most people is you're arriving at these places at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So you're coming in under radar. You're trying not to hit anything. You're looking for a place to anchor. So you just drive up to the island, stay, quarter mile off the island and drop the anchor and sleep. It's 2 a.m. in the morning. And it's usually calm because you're running before the front. The big winds haven't hit you yet.
You've planned well.
Right. Yeah. So that's B. Now C is the most aggressive run because you come around the top of Bimini and you keep running for the Northwest Channel. Now, the Northwest Channel, you're going to hit around 2 a.m. also. And most people go, oh, no, I am not running between 2 reefs It's 1 mile. It's 1 mile wide. It's big. There's supposed to be a light there, but welcome to the Bahamas, man. The lighthouse is blown away. We don't replace lighthouses when they blow away. There might
well,
be
you have your tracks, right?
there might be a stick sticking out of the water, but if this is your first time through here, most people will freak out, and they'll drop an anchor in front of the Northwest Channel on the sandbar.
Which we have done successfully.
We've done that. Not a very nice night of sleep, but you can drop an anchor and you rock and roll it and just keep moving. My opinion, just keep it moving. Get through the Northwest Channel and you drop into what's called D now, the tongue of the ocean there, and you're going to get the Chub Key. Chub Key is
that's where we dropped anchor right there. It was a little rolly all night.
Yeah. So now you go in the Chub Key. If you go to the next screen now, I'm going to show each ABC here. So here's Bimini. Here we're coming into Bimini now. And the game plan in Bimini is so many people come in here and they go north up to the north part of the island. And there's a lot of current up there. And the current runs north and south. And the docks are east and west. So you got to go up there, turn sideways across the current and pull into a dock and dock. Your other option, option B, is you go down to this little marina with a jetty. Right
here?
Inlet. Yeah, down B. Down to B.
Here. Down here, okay.
You go straight in through the jetty. You go into a pond with floating docks, no current, pull in, pick up the tie
That's what I did. I came up here. So this looks much better.
There. Yeah. I don't think it's the best way. We've done it the first time. The first time we did it, our buddy boat crashed into another boat and took out their davits and their dinghy, punched their dinghy with a hole. I mean, it was total mess. And
this is where I checked in up here. So I see there's another port of entry. How many offices do they have there?
Well, they got two. They got one to the North Island, one to the South Island. So you can take a golf cart up to the A, up where it says A, and ride a ferry across there and go check it at the normal place. You don't want to go to North Bimini, in my opinion.
By boat.
By your boat. You don't want to take your boat up into that current when there's an option for a marina on the South Bimini right there.
Heck yeah.
So the marina.
I'm there.
I'm not sure if it's still called Bimini Sands, but it used to be. And they have a golf cart and they'll take you to the airport where you can clear in customs.
So this is Bimini. I would skip it and carry on. So go to the next option. The next option is B, going to the Berries. So now here's what happens. You run overnight. You have this nice, beautiful night at sea on the 10-foot deep Bahama banks. When the sun is casting a shadow on your mast, before it sets, you get a shadow on the sandy bottom. It's unbelievable. You see starfish. It's fairyland, right?
It's gorgeous.
You come in here, the X is where you're going to drop anchor, and it's going to be 2 a.m. in the morning. So you can see that's not hard to do. There's nothing in your way. You're not navigating a channel or anything. No. You're just running up and dropping the anchor before you run into the coastline. So it's easy. So you drop anchor, be 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, sleep. Now, again, it may not be an option if the front is strong, because look at the winds. The winds are west. You've brought west winds out here. They may go northwest,
but you're still exposed.
They may go north at 20, 30 knots. This is not going to be pretty at all. If you have high winds,
you'd be a little exposed.
You're in a lee shore and you got nothing you can do. And you're not going to run in the channel at 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. So
unless you're real familiar with it, right?
No, you would no. Rule number 1: you do not run channels in the Bahamas at night. No.
Okay.
Northwest Channel, that's fine. It's 1 mile wide. It's
right.
Okay. So now in the morning, now you come around the corner, you go into Great Harbor, and you dock up and you check in there. Fabulous.
That looks nice.
It's an old-fashioned Bahamian marina, really friendly. They have potlucks some evenings and barbecues other evenings, and you can walk to town, and it's fun.
This is a good place to make a destination. You can say, I'm leaving, I'm going to the Bahamas, I'm going to the Berries, I'm not going anywhere else. And you can just circle the Berry Islands up here. There's a bunch of harbors around it. But if your goal is Georgetown and the Exumas, you don't want to get stuck here. You want to keep moving. So now look at the next option.
So I just want to say that it looks like you'd be able to anchor where the red arrows are leading you to the marina, but it's not allowed. It's navigable, but you're not supposed to anchor in there.
Cats do, but monohulls don't.
Right.
There's no room.
Okay. All right.
So now the next screen is going.
Okay, let's pause one moment for
Okay.
tonight's sponsor.
Yes.
Let me find it. I actually have forgotten to do this every time. So tonight's sponsor is me. I'm Tinsley Myrick, Remax of Orange Beach. In case you didn't know, I sell Gulfront condos in Orange Beach and Gulf Shores, Alabama, as well as Perdido Key, Florida. So I've been selling real estate down here for 21 years.
Wonderful.
And we're a team. We're the Myrick team. We're real good at it. And so if you're looking for some property down here on the Gulf, please give me a call. And there is the email and the phone number. Thank you for allowing me to do that.
You're going to sell a condo to Radeen if she can afford it. I don't know if she can.
Let's do it.
I hear you. Okay, this is option B or C now. You got berries, you got Bimini, or you got straight to the berries, or you're brave and you make the run for this Northwest Channel because you're going to Chub Key or you're going to Nassau. You could we carried on the Nassau once and we laid a haul off of Nassau and waited till daybreak. So you're going to come through this reef at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Go through at night. Okay.
Yeah, you're going to go through at night. There's no other, or you're going to drop an anchor. That's the next slide. If you back up.
You want me to go back?
Yeah. So you're coming through the reef at night, or you anchor there at 2 a.m. and go through in the morning. Okay, next slide, you get to Chub Key. And now you're going to come into Chub Key by daybreak, and you're going to be able to anchor there off of the marina of Chub Key.
Yes, this is what we did. This was after either Maria or one of those storms back then where this was all messed up.
It is. Yeah, it was.
And we came in here and we this is where we anchored, and it was a little rolly, but
it is.
But we got some sleep, and that's important.
Right. Again, this is a check-in port of entry, so you drop anchor. You can dinghy in and check in. They don't like that. They prefer you come in and take a dock. Their docking billing procedure is insane. It's not even.
Why do they not like it?
You could do a whole podcast on the marina and how they're doing reservations. It's really complicated. It's not worth even talking about. But this is your other option. From here, you would go to Nassau.
And I would just like to say it is a lovely property.
Fabulous.
Beautiful marina. Has
5-star
restaurants.
Well, it's probably all new, right?
Oh, it is. Everything's new.
5-star right there. Yeah. That's very, very sweet.
Beautiful gift shop. Yeah. It is lovely.
Yeah. Okay, you're going to come out of here. Now you're going to have your first great sale, because look at the next route.
Okay.
We're going to now go down to the island of New Providence. If you look at the whole picture here again, this is looking at the big picture. You start up at that Northwest Channel. You've come into the Berries. Now, you come into Chub Key,
which is part of the Berries.
Right. And now you have a day trip down to the west end of New Providence, which is the island of Nassau. Now, notice I'm not going over to the east side where Nassau is. I'm stopping here in the West Bay. And we've used this every time we've come in, because look at your next trip, your next day trip, you've reached the Exuma Keys.
Yeah.
So this is why you don't want to get stuck back there in Bimini or the Berries or Chub Key. You want to try to push as hard as you can. I would like to just push straight through and go to West End, but you can't check in anywhere. So you'd have to push straight through and go to Nassau and dock in Nassau and check in Nassau, which is efficient. You can do that. The whole problem is, where do you check in at? That's the problem. And you're running before a front, because you still have 50 miles. That last arrow that says day trip, that's 50 miles from West End to the first Exuma Key is 50 miles. And it's southeast. If the front has come around, it's already been, if you've been lucky, it came around north and northeast winds where you're docked in Chub Key, and the trade winds are back and the trades are starting to try to reestablish. You can make this next run coming down here, double reef main and a strapped in staysail and motor into it, because you're going to be motoring into the wind.
I would like to point out that on Hayden's birthday in 2012, February 10th, we had our friend Jeff Gaber aboard, who had an island packet named Lucille, a 420. He was crewing for us, and we left to make it to Highborn Key. Yeah. And after about 2.5 hours, we had to turn around and go back to West Bay. We weren't making any progress.
I love to sail upwind, believe it or not. We had double reef main in and a full jib out, strapped it that the spreader was punching through the jib. It was hard on the wind. We had the autopilot B&G set to hold like a really tight wind angle. And we were bashing our way east into this wind. And I said, this is ridiculous. We're not going to make it by dark. You don't want to be anchoring in the Exumas in dark. That's bad news.
Right.
So we turned around and just sailed back into West Bay and said, we're going to stay here till the wind dies down. We stayed there 2 days till it changed.
No, was this unexpected? Well, how did you get off?
No.
How did you get caught in that wind?
The front comes through faster than you expected, and you thought you could beat it east. You thought you could beat it out east.
All right.
You sometimes
It's not a perfect system, I understand.
All right, so now we're getting out to the Exumas. We've made it 200 miles east. The next
now
slide
you're offshore at Highburn Key.
Yeah, you're not offshore anywhere. You're still in the Exumas.
Well, she means off the coast.
Right.
So I would just like to point out, please notice that the blue water on this chart is shallow water.
Yeah.
It's the Bahama Banks. The white water is incredibly deep.
Yeah.
So the body of water to the west side is called the tongue of the ocean.
Yeah, that's weird looking when you're on that.
It is.
Thousands of feet deep with Navy submarines practicing in there.
Right. It's that deep.
It's deep.
It's weird. It's very different looking. You know you're in some really deep water.
Exactly. You're so right, Tinsley.
All right, go to the next slide and we'll look at the Exumas now. Now we've reached paradise now. This is West Bay. This is West Bay.
This is West End. This is where you anchor off. Okay.
I'm in between the reef and you anchor there. It's obvious on the charts. It doesn't need much discussion. There's nothing to go to shore for. You just sleep here and swim. Okay, next slide.
And swim, of course.
Yeah. Okay, here we are. This is the final push. You've done Bimini, you've done Chubb or Berries, you've gone to West Bay. Now you got one last push of 50 miles east, and you go from West Bay, you push down to the first key is Highborn Key. The second one is Norman's Key, and the third one is Shroud Key, which most people love the best. So we pushed last year from West Bay and went straight for Shroud Key in 1 day. Now you do have those reefs up there, yellow bank and white bank.
Yeah, they're visible, aren't they?
You can hit them. This is why you don't run at night. You can easily hit those reefs up there. So you run during the day, and this is a 50-mile leg right here. So now you're out at Shroud Key. You go to the next slide.
Wait, we got to answer a question. It's Mark and Dawn
the
Journey.
Fees. Oh, yeah.
Hi, guys. They want to know what are the fees for the Bahamas and how long are they good for? You would need to look it up to be sure. It used to be $300.
It was $300 for 6 months.
I thought it was 3 months.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It's been changing.
They've been they stupidly had $150 for 35 foot and under, $300 for 35 feet and over. I would walk into customs with $150 cash in my left pocket and $150 cash in my right pocket. I'd wait till the customs agent would call the number out. Or I would be aggressive and say, here's my $150. I'm 35 feet. So you never know what you're going to, but it's posted on their website. It's either 300 or 600 now. I know they've been increasing the fees. But again, we haven't been here. We've been in the Caribbean for the last.
Well, we were in the Exumas last
year. Last year we made this run right here. Yes. Yeah. From here, we made this run to the Bahamas, to the Caribbean, doing all this. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So last year for us, it was $300.
Yeah. So now these are the dream islands right here. Shroud Key has a water river that flows through mangrove that ends up out in the ocean. That's to die for.
You can take your dinghy through
Wardrick Wells is the photograph that everybody takes of their boat in this little skinny little river that goes through sandbanks. It is the icon of the Exumas is Wardrick Wells. Cambridge Key, Compass Key, Sampson Key, Staniel Key. Staniel Key is the dream. That's the Pig Beach where everybody loves to go. And
so
then
let me just say that Wardrick Wells and Halls Pond and Cambridge Key are part of the Bahamas National Park. They call
Where do you put your sign?
What sign?
The boats leave their signs on their.
Oh, that's at Wardrick Wells.
Wardrick Wells. You climb up the Boo Boo Hill, the top of Boo Boo Hill, and you.
Boo Boo Hill. Okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty close. You get cell phone coverage up there, so people climb up there with their cell phone.
Yeah, and they'll leave a little. They'll bring like a little wooden sign of your boat.
Yeah, you should bring a sign that has your boat on it with the boat name painted on it.
We put our stickers up there is what we do.
Yeah.
Okay, that's smart.
So now look at this. You're sailing down behind this chain of islands on an east trade wind. Fantastic. Until the front comes. Which way does the front blow? Tinsley?
South.
And then what?
And then
what?
southeast.
No, southwest.
South, and then
Southwest. And then west.
and then west.
Yeah.
And then
Okay, just stop,
northwest.
Just
Yeah.
stop
Because-
there at west and northwest. You're on these red arrows,
Yeah.
and you're anchored.
Yeah.
You're now on a lee shore. This is the problem with the Exumas. Every 7 to 10 days, you're going to have a front, and you're going to be on a lee shore, and you better have the big bad anchor, and you better know how to set it, and you better be able to have your boat swing in a 180 to 360 degree rotating turn as the wind clocks, and not drag, because if you drag, you'll be up on the beach. There's no.
Do you ever have to help others around you? How can I say?
We've never drug anybody off.
No.
We've
No,
never.
but
drug
did you ever have to either move away from somebody who maybe didn't know what they were
Yes.
doing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you move.
Or did you ever offer any suggestions?
No, you let everybody do their own thing. But if you go to the next slide here, the next slide is one of our favorite little places, Staniel Key. Everybody loves Staniel Key. This is Staniel Key Yacht Club. Now notice it as an airport. Very, very key. It's the first place you can fly in or fly out of.
After Nassau.
After Nassau. So Staniel Key Yacht Club is...
It's not a yacht club. It's a restaurant.
It's one of our happy places. And I know Colin Mack loves it here. And I always bring him gear from Staniel Key Yacht Club. This is his place he goes to. And all of us, if we were just going to go to one place in the Exumas, it'd be Wardrick Wells and it'd be Staniel Key Yacht Club. It's not really about the pigs on the beach. The pigs are up there where the big X is in front of big major spot. That's where you anchor. You take your boat straight into there. You anchor off the pigs. You don't really have to play with the pigs, but it is something to see.
It's kind of tradition, isn't it?
Yeah. It's interesting,
It's
so
that photo moment.
it is. It is. And then you dinghy from that X there. You dinghy over to Staniel Key Yacht Club.
Oh.
Well, you also have the grotto here. That's where you swim in, where James Bond Thunderball movie was made. So you got the grotto to swim in. Radeen loves this. This place is just our happy place. We could just stay right here.
And you can see there's anchoring symbols. There's other places to anchor as well.
Right here.
Yeah. And to the north.
There's a lot of mooring balls in there, and it's a lot of current.
Yep, up there.
There's a lot of current right there. Your best place is where that anchor is, right off Pig Beach. And because I didn't capture enough chart, but to the north of this is a row of islands that go west. They go way out for about 1 mile to 2 miles west. And that means when the front comes, yes, you're on the lee shore of Pig Beach. Fine. If I drag, I'll drag up on Pig. But I have 120 feet of chain out and 10 feet of water, whatever. It's ridiculous. You lay out so much chain in the Bahamas because you never know when the winds are going to come. And so
those northern islands give you protection.
Right. You're going to take the south, the west, and as soon as it goes northwest here at Pig Beach, you're protected by these islands to the north. That's why this is so popular. This is a great place. The next island, go to the next one now. The next one south of here is called Black Point. We
were there last year for 8 days with Alex and Amy on IP 350 Serena.
Yeah.
I would never have thought we'd get stuck there for 8 days, but it was so windy. There were days we didn't even get off the boat, even though we were close to town. And it's a great town. It's easy to walk and it's pretty. We stayed on the boat because
we anchored right there, and we were waiting because we were trying to run from here to the Turks and Caicos, to the Caribbean. So we waited here because the cut is right to the north of this island, and that's where we wanted to go out to sea.
Right here?
Yeah, there's a cut up there.
Yeah.
So we bashed our way when the wind finally went northeast. It came in overnight and it blew. We were on this lee shore and it blew 30, 35 knots. And then it went northwest, and we're even worse case scenario, but you're just riding it out. The bowsprit is going underwater and then coming up, and the bowsprit goes underwater and coming up, and you are just really working your anchor gear to death. And as soon as that wind went north, we were in the protected V, and we were waiting for north and northeast because we wanted to get anchor up, go up there, turn the corner, and hang a right. And as soon as we could hang a right, we're right where the word Black Point is, out to sea.
Yeah.
We went out to sea there, and we had the best sail from there. I don't know, 200.
Oh, this is the one you were talking about. This is
250 miles down.
We went to Crooked Island.
Yeah, Crooked Island, and we had the best overnight sail right past Georgetown. Just kept going, and downwind, broad reaching, hull speed, phenomenal sail right there. But you have to wait. You have to wait for the front. You're taking the front out is what we were doing to go south. But this is the place everybody goes for laundry and Lorraine's bread.
Restaurant.
There's a restaurant there. Mom makes homemade coconut bread that everybody dies for. And there's a little yacht club there and pubs and restaurants.
And Key West John has a comment.
Hey, have you jumped through the grotto? No. No, John. I am not jumping off the hole in the top of the rock and dropping down into the grotto on somebody's head. No, I'm not jumping through. Did you?
John, did you do it? I want to know.
He probably
That's
did.
my friend Key West John. You've heard me talk about him. He's been on the podcast.
I'm sure he's jumped it. He's a wild man.
I don't know.
Now the next screen gets us to Georgetown. And here we made it. So now you can see up at the top there, you see Staniel Key. Up above A is Staniel Key. That's where the pigs are. You have a cut here called Dotham Cut, which we went out right at Great Guana, which is Black Point. South of there, you have Farmer's Key Cut. And then you have Rudder Key Cut.
So you have ABC.
You have ABC cuts to go from the west to the east to get out to sea. Now you're going out to sea for a long, sail down to Georgetown, what's called Stocking Island. You're trying to get down there because the rest of these islands you can go behind, but not very easily. So most people will stop up there at these cuts and pick one of these cuts to go out. And now you make a run. You're making a run for Georgetown. But look again, trade winds are east. Look at that red line. That's not a beam reach. That is upwind. That's upwind. So you're going to be sailing. It's easy, it's easy to come home from the Bahamas. It's hard to get down. So now you're beating. So double reef main, and you just put it down.
And let me just say, you need to be careful going out all of these cuts,
right? Because
the waves and the wind are against you.
Yeah.
So you should pay attention to the tide, the current, so that you know when you don't have a situation of wind against the waves and get in rough conditions.
Right. The deep water in the right is ebbing and flooding, and it floods up and it comes up through these cuts and flows onto these shallow banks. And then the banks fill up and then they drain back out through the cut. And what the worst case scenario is, the cut is flowing out against a 20 knot east wind. The wind against current is your worst enemy at sea. What am I trying to think of when you're coming across from Miami? Oh yeah,
you don't want that.
Any of the cut. You don't want wind. You don't want wind against current.
Yeah, so really be tough.
You're sitting back here and you're trying to figure out. I want to go to Georgetown. When is the cut not rate? It's called raging. The cuts, they go vertical.
When is the cut not raging?
When is the cut not raging? If the cut's not raging,
so you could get on the sail net and go. When's the cut not raging?
I'm going out.
Where's Hayden and Radeen?
Is Rudder Key raging? And then so when somebody goes out, they call back on the radio, say, the cut's not raging. It's not high. It's flat. It's too nice waves, and we're out.
That's a great tip, y'all.
And then you get out, and now you're out here, and it might be 3-4 foot rollers. And
Key West John said he did do it. By the way,
of course he did.
22 feet, no way.
He's crazy.
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, Radeen.
Well, he's a pilot and a sailor, so he's got a little bit of nutty in him.
Radeen could parachute in, probably. That would work.
Oh my God.
All right. The next slide now is the final destination, Georgetown. Look at this. Here is what is known as Chicken Harbor.
Chicken Harbor.
Everybody loves it. Everybody loves this place, rightfully so.
I need to make it there.
This is your destination. Now you sail in. We've sailed from any of those cuts up there, and we've sailed right to this Chat and Chill anchor. And we've dropped anchor right off of Chat and Chill under sail. Yeah. That's the way to arrive Georgetown. So we've sailed in there. We anchor as close to Chat and Chill as we can. Now, unfortunately, they're mooring this out. They got moorings everywhere, which is a big debate down there. But it's probably safer that people aren't dragging anchor. They're mooring it to protect the seabed and the seagrasses is their argument. It's more of a money thing. But anyways,
I've had some amateurs in there too, I'm sure.
I guess so. So
not as skilled, I should say. Not as experienced.
Yeah. You have multiple anchoring spots across here. Chat and Chill's ground zero. The beauty of Georgetown is that notice you have an island to the east and an island to the west. It's 1 mile across the harbor. So again, when the front comes every 7 to 10 days, nobody has to up anchor and move. Nobody has to worry because the front's going to come around to the west and it's going to be blocked by the mainland over here to the west. It's only going to be bad when it's northwest blowing down this channel.
And that's usually brief.
That's brief. And then it goes north and now you're protected again. So everybody anchors to the east over here and nobody moves. Yeah, Radeen and I, we moved from Chat and Chill over to the other X that I have there. We move over to town when we want to go shopping or something if we have things to do.
How far is this right here?
1 mile. Piece of cake.
Okay.
You can row a dinghy.
You don't dinghy? You don't?
You dinghy across. Everybody, nobody moves in Georgetown. When people get here, they drop their anchor and that's it. We move. We go to the other islands, the out islands. We come back here.
And we do anchor where that bottom X is.
Yeah, we anchor down there.
Just because if you got laundry and stuff, it is a long dinghy ride. Mile's pretty far.
You get wet coming back and forth across here because you're going
to do your laundry again.
Yeah.
Laundry is a big deal in there. Drop off service. You drop it off, they wash it, they fold it.
Nice.
We love drop off laundry service.
So they have a floating dinghy dock there where you can get fresh water in your jugs.
Yeah.
And they have a dinghy dock also at the fuel stop, so you can fill your.
Now, how much is water?
I got a water maker now. I don't worry about it, but I think it was 50 cents a gallon when we were buying it.
Wow. Okay, that's not bad.
Water is your. The beauty is they got you. She said a free dock. You bring the dinghy in, you got free water.
I mean, it's 99 cents at Publix for a gallon of water.
There you go.
That's not bad.
This is why people live here. They have free water. They have a pump out boat that was sporadic that worked pretty well. And you got a grocery store and you got a fuel station and you have a safe anchorage and you don't have to move. And there's volleyball and beaches to go to. There's
a sail net.
There's church on the beach. There's hikes. It's paradise. This is the destination of the Exumas. This and Standing Key, Wardrick Wells, and all these other places.
And there's also a lot of kids activities too. Yeah. A lot of kid boats come here for the winter.
Island Girls.
Yeah, remember Melanie was you knew you knew them. Melanie's father. I can't remember his name.
Tom Neal.
Oh, Tom Neal. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is where they used to come to.
Right.
Everybody goes here. There's 300 boats here in the wintertime.
And she talked about seeing the same kids every year. And
300 boats will be here. It's a community. It's incredible. Most people don't leave here because
again, there's a radio net every morning.
It's everything you need. And
on Saturdays, the kids do the radio net, which
is
fun.
Everybody that can fix everything. If your water maker breaks, there's somebody in the harbor that knows how to tear it down, fix it, and has the spare parts. I mean, it's a community. It's the best sailing community we've been to probably anywhere.
So Pete has another question on Island Girl. He's asking about recommended charts, aqua maps, and also the best source for the Bahamas tide tables.
Well, the charts we use are Navionics for all these places. Aqua maps we're just getting into. We know that that's more popular, but I've never heard of it. We're mainly Navionic. Aqua maps is really popular because on the East Coast they've integrated the Army Corps of Engineers survey data. And so coming down the coast, Aqua Maps is really, really clear and very popular. But I don't know if Aqua Maps is global and does the Caribbean. I don't know. I just use Navionics. That's what I like.
But I would like to say a good resource to have is what's called the Explorer chart books. They take the Bahamas and divide them into 3 different regions. And they're about a 20 by 10 spiral bound book. The pages are heavy plastic.
Yes, but on Aqua Maps, you can download and pay for the Explorer charts to be added in Aqua Maps.
Okay, I didn't know that.
The key on charting in the Bahamas, the first year we went down there, Jeff Gaber saved me from running into a reef. The reef was not on my Garmin chart chips that I was running, which were called CMAP NT chips 2011. Yeah. And I'm maintaining a course, and Jeff, he had an iPad. He's a big Apple guy. He had an iPad running something else. And he said, "Are you going to maintain this course?" I said, "Yeah, I'm good to go there." And then we're going to turn. He goes, "You're going to hit a reef." I'm like, "No way." My God. And matter of fact, I was running Navionics. He was running,
I don't remember,
an IBM an Apple product. I forget what it was called, precursor to Aqua Maps. And it was better. It was Garmin's, I think. And he said, "You're going to hit a reef." And I looked at his charts. I looked at my Navionics charts, and there was no reef on my chart, and there was a reef on his.
Oh my gosh.
Wreck. This is well known in the Bahamas there was
Local knowledge.
there was $1 million catamaran in 2010 or 2011. First year we went down there at 12, and it was coming in from sea from Europe, and it was coming into Georgetown, and Navionics had the magenta line across a reef, and the kids put it right up on the reef and lost the whole boat coming into Georgetown.
Nobody died, but the boat was a total
And when you
loss.
look at Navionics, there's all kinds of X's now over that area of the reef. And
Is that on here by any chance?
No.
No.
Navionics now removed that magenta line. It's south of here when you come in from the south. And so I have screen captures of probably 20 screens that I started to capture errors on Navionics that I could hit a rock or hit a reef that was not on my CMAP NT chips and was not on the paper charts. So back in the day, 2011, 12, when we were going down there, you had to have the paper charts. You had to have the Explorer chart kits. That was rule one. You ran only those waypoints. You didn't deviate from those. So now that's all digitally incorporated into Aquamaps. And Navionics, when you ask Navionics, do you guys put in the Explorer chart data? They go, no, we have our own data. Well, we know how. The rule is Navionics is not to be trusted in
the Bahamas.
in the Exumas and the Bahamas. You need to make sure you're using the Explorer chart books or the Explorer chart data inside of Aquamaps, which you have to buy. It's cheaper than the paper, and you put them into Aquamaps. We have that.
So you can buy the digital Explorer, and then it puts it into your Navionics.
No.
Navionics
does not like Explorer charts.
Okay.
Navionics bad. Aquamaps good.
Okay.
With the Explorer chart data added. Now Garmin pays Explorer for the chart data. So the Garmin chips, when you ask Garmin about their charts, you always ask them, does it have the Explorer chart data, which are the original chart books? And Garmin will say, yes, our charts have the, so then you can kind of make sure they do by looking at a couple reefs and things. But Navionics was well known. Don't trust it in the Exumas. And I've got screen captures of it.
You do.
Many screen captures of it.
So you trust your Garmin in the Bahamas, but you're checking the data. I
use the Explorer chart book, the Explorer chart books in the Bahamas.
Okay.
And I would like to put in a plug for the actual books. The books are more than charts. They have great information for every community that you go to. They have the phone number for the government clinic, and you can find out what hours they're open. So there's a lot to be said for those.
Kind of like the waterway guide.
Yeah, it is.
Yes,
it is.
Okay. They're smaller than that, but they're waterproof, so you can keep them open in the cockpit at all times.
Yeah, the Explorer books are great.
This is great info, you guys.
They're fantastic. They're fantastic. But
you saved somebody's boat here.
Well, everything is digital. Those kids that lost that brand new catamaran, terrible.
So Key West John says, great show with lots of great info. I've always flown there, rented boats with your info. Now I'm more comfortable to take my Hunter 306 there.
No problem.
Oh, good for you.
Problem,
That's
John.
my friend Key West John.
I'll see you over there. That's not a problem at all. So I don't know if we have any more charts. I think that's just the last chart is just the summary. The summary screen is what the last page shows, I think.
Can I ask you one more question?
Yeah, please do.
So if you're in the States or offshore up here, what do you prefer? What do you think is most accurate? Okay.
Navionics.
What about Garmin?
If I had Garmin, I would make
they're combined now, right?
If I had Garmin, I would make Garmin number one.
Okay, that's what I have.
Yeah, Garmin's number one now. Navionics was always pretty popular, but Garmin bought Navionics.
Right.
I don't know how they've changed it or what they've done.
Well, I need to update mine, and I've never figured out how to download it, so I just end up ordering another chip, which is more expensive, I think. But
right,
we understand. We've done that too.
Yeah, I just buy a new chip every year.
Yeah, because the instructions are clear as mud.
Right, exactly. Downloading it, you can't do it. That's great.
And I'm a technical person.
Yeah, you obviously look what you're running right here.
Look what you're doing live.
Look how good you are.
This is so awesome, you guys. These are such great detail.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well,
so Hayden does plan to load these charts to his website, svislandspirit.com.
Yep.
And they'll be there for everybody to review again.
Yeah, I'm going to put them
Okay.
up on the website. So put the summary back up there. Of the
All right,
chart.
let me put that up there.
Yeah.
You guys can be found on most social media.
Yep.
I'm going to put your website on here.
Yeah.
SV. Oh, it's right there in front of me.
Yeah, everything
SV.
is under svislandspirit.com. Everything links up from there. You can find us all.
So
there.
okay, so they can go there and get links to all your social media too.
Everything's tied to that. Yep.
Okay,
That's
so I know everything except for YouTube is at SV Island Spirit, and YouTube's got a couple extra letters in it, but
yeah, right.
And then here's the website, and just for the record, everybody, these folks right here started the Facebook. Well, first he started the Island Packet Owners Association webpage.
Yeah.
That was like pre Facebook and all that.
Back in the 90s.
And there's tons of stuff on there about different projects people have done. They upload pictures, and then you did the Facebook page.
Right.
And this is not the official Island Packet page. This is for the owners.
The owners,
so,
yeah. We have the
and
owners.
This is like the best owner Facebook page out there because there's so much good information.
Yeah, we have 3,000 people in the website, ipyoa.com. That's where 20,000 pictures of Island Packet systems are archived. And then the Facebook group is private to just owners. You have to have a Hall ID to get in there. And then we approve you with your Hall ID. And we're 1,700 members in the Facebook group that are just helping each other all the time. It's fantastic.
But the website is open to the public, so anybody can access the information that's shared there.
Yeah, the website's public. You can see all the 20,000 pictures there just by clicking through them. It's no big deal.
And also, your little plug for you guys are brokers.
Oh yeah, we're with CJ Yacht Sales down in Palmetto, Florida. When Whitaker's Yacht Sales, we worked with Whitaker Yacht Sales for 10 years, and we sell maybe 6 Island Packets a year and help owners buy and sell. And our lead broker there, Clint Jordan, broke off, and when Whitaker retired and started a new company called CJ Yacht Sales. So the team moved over there, and we're listing boats there. Mainly we work as buyers brokers. Like you want to find an Island Packet, we like to help you evaluate the market and recommend what you should look into to meet your cruising goals.
But CJ Yacht Sales does all models of boats.
Yeah.
But we specialized it in Island Packet.
Right. Yeah. If you guys want to have questions about there's a lot of people watching, by the way.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
I was really thinking, I was like, we should have more questions. Everybody's probably taking notes or something. So busy writing.
It'll all be online.
If anybody has any questions about Island Packets, or really, you two know about a lot of different types of boats, but especially Island Packet. And if you want to know about the different models, what's the good, the bad about each one, these two right here are your.
Yeah,
thank you, Tinsley.
Thank you. We own the 27-footer for 10 years, 1991 to 2001, and now we've owned this 35-footer since 2001, so 24 years. So
it's so updated.
It's 35 years.
You got everything.
It's 35 years of Island Packet ownership. So
yes,
we've torn this boat apart 4 times and rebuilt it.
And we could do another video just on all your upgrades.
Just on systems.
You just talked about your water maker, and when we know you have the Starlink and just about
Starlink
everything,
wonderful.
Solar power and.
Yep, we're energy surplus. Yes, we are.
Okay, well, we've decided before we came on the air that you're going to come on here regularly, right? I'm trying to pin you down, right?
we don't want to bore people, but we do love talking about this stuff.
Oh, no. There's people just like you and me that just get the big eyes and just you're talking about sailing, you know?
By the way, the only way you can get one of these is you have to find us in a harbor. These are rare, very, very rare collector's item.
Well, so you have to find them on their boat. You can follow them at SV Island Spirit on Facebook. I think that's where you post the most, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to hold you to November 13th.
Okay.
With a tiny question mark. Hopefully you'll come back and we'll talk about provisioning.
For the Bahamas. Totally different than provisioning for the Caribbean. Yeah. Totally different.
Caribbean's easy.
Yeah, Caribbean's easy. There's great
Bahamas is hard.
Great grocery
Bahamas is hard. Oh, that might be 2 videos. Okay.
No, Caribbean is easy.
Yeah, there's nothing to talk about provisioning in the Caribbean because it's so easy.
Yeah,
The
go to
food
French
is
Island, get everything you
wonderful.
want.
Right.
Okay, a
But
lot
Bahamas
easier in the
is-
Caribbean. Bahamas is a little limited.
Bahamas is
little
tough.
challenging. Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. Well,
right.
as we like to say, what do we say when we're ending a Salty Abandon video?
Tinsley, we're out.
Salty Abandon out.
Out.